Are you thinking of moving to Lisbon? Do you want to know everything there is to know about the real estate market in this beautiful city? Stay tuned as I'm going to be sharing with you some very valuable information as you're beginning your journey to this beautiful country. Come on in. So you're seriously thinking about moving to Lisbon, and by now you've probably been researching Google, YouTube channels, every possible channel you could go to get some proper, reliable information. And I've been where you've been. I can relate to it. And there's such a mix of information, some very extreme, some very conservative. And until you really get here, until you learn, as a real estate professional that I've been doing for more than 10 years, in one of the most competitive markets worldwide, which is Vancouver in Canada, and now at almost 4 years working in Lisbon. It's been a journey to get where I am. It's been a journey to be able to get the information I have gathered, the information that I have access to. But let me warn you, it's nothing like for countries that have the MLS, like Canada and the USA. Disclosure here, it's not something that is practiced a lot. Same goes with transparency. It's almost some of those large firms, the old way of doing business, they want to keep that information hidden from you so you can come less informed. And I really don't see the advantage of that. Having worked in a fully open market, in a transparent market like Canada, the advantage of having real information to be able to show comparables. This sold for this rented for this, really like solid information. It's priceless. But the reality is that we don't have that system here. However, with a lot of hard work, experience, and now connections, I do get information that is the best, in my opinion, the best you can get to on the way to represent somebody who's buying, in a way to give you information as you're making a decision to buy. I'm here to be transparent and to disclose to you everything I know about the real estate market in this beautiful city. So stay tuned. I like to actually start with some fun fact, since we're here in the office, and we do have this lovely stone structure. And as you're searching for properties online, as you're Googling things about Lisbon properties, you might encounter that in a lot of the old apartments. And what this was, and in many of them is where the kitchen is. And the stove, all the cookware would be in this area, the chimney. And on this case, what I used it here for is to put this screen. And I thank you very much for your patience. This is the first time that I'm actually going to be using it, so I hope I get it. And just a little fun fact about Lisbon. But let's get to it. I thought the first thing that is really important to share with anybody looking into moving to Lisbon is like how big the city is and how many options there are where expats are moving to and different reasons why. I'd like to start here by pointing out Avenida Liberdade, just to put into perspective how little this is as opposed to the city of Lisbon, right? And the most important areas, I shouldn't say most important, but the ones that are most known to expat, to anybody coming to visit Lisbon, is what we like to call the Golden Triangle. And the Golden Triangle basically goes from Marquês de Pombal down Avenida Liberdade, it cuts down to Chiado, and then from here it goes through Príncipe Real, Amoreiras, Estrela, Lapa, and Santos. So this, as somebody who doesn't know Lisbon that well yet, this is what you get here. It's like, oh my God, I need to live here. This is everything I want. It's because it's what you know. But by having the right professionals to guide you through it, you're gonna see that there's so much more happening in the city. There's so many areas to be invested in, so many areas that expats are invested in moving to that are outside of this Golden Triangle. And the reason why I bring this up is that, as you know, Lisbon is no longer a cheap city to invest. Real estate here, it's highly competitive. So many people want to live in this beautiful city for obvious reasons, right? The weather, the wine, the people, the proximity to other places in Europe. It's just, again, I mean, I'm 4 years in and I absolutely love this place. Let's explore these areas together. I'm gonna make just a circle here that encompasses those areas that are of interest to the expat community today. We'll touch briefly on the Golden Triangle that starts here in around Marquês de Pombal, go down to Chiado, all the way to Santos and up here. But besides that, we have so many other areas that could be of interest to you who's serious about moving to Lisbon, and for different reasons. And if you're actually interested in knowing a bit of each of those areas, we're gonna create a series of videos. So subscribe, click on the bell button, because we're gonna be doing those videos quite frequently now to go into details of what each area is, what the price is being practiced there for both purchase and rent, who's buying, what's the demographic of who's investing in this neighborhood. So lots of really good information to educate you, to be as transparent as we possibly can with the information that we have, so we guide you through making the right decision. We have here Campo de Ourique, right? Very charming place to live, flat neighborhood. Campolide, who's developing quite rapidly, mostly because of the proximity to a lot of the prime neighborhoods. Over here, as part of the Golden Triangle, we have Santo Antonio, and that's a bit of a São Mamede, Príncipe Real, Marquês de Pombal, so very important area. Over, as if you've seen my videos before, of the neighborhoods. And again, you can go back on my history. I've done single videos, just more visual, more romantic on a lot of these areas. So definitely worth seeing. They're about 2 years old now, but still very, very current. And the charm is there, right? That hasn't changed. But Avenidas Novas, it translates to new avenues. Very popular with those that are looking for new apartments, bigger, more accessibility to amenities. So really, really popular one. Alvalade, it's very close to the Portuguese heart and is slowly getting the attention of the expats. Down over here, Arroios, one of the hottest spots right now. If you probably are researching where to invest, what are the up and coming areas, you're probably coming across a lot. Arroios, Intendente, Anjos. So this is out here, right next to Penha de Franca, which borders Anjos, Arroios, and Intendente, therefore getting a bit of that, overflow of the investments on this area. And São Vicente, which is mostly known because of the neighborhood of Graça. Super charming. Again, very hot right now if you're looking at articles. Graça is one of the greatest places to live in Lisbon. It does have the old charm with the new modernity of us moving there and changing a little bit. You have the tram going by, some fantastic views. So Graça is definitely another one that is in everybody's watch these days. And just touch briefly over here on some things that are coming up as well, which is Beato and Marvilha, a little farther away, a little more warehousey, being converted into new neighborhoods, with some cool real estate there. And the farthest off, which is Parque das Nações, which again, nothing to do with the Lisbon charm, but for families looking for some practicalities, Main Street without the restaurants, everything just practically done there, still with the metro station linking to the city. Parque das Nações is something that we touch based on. And so these are some of the up and coming areas of Lisbon. So wait a minute, let's not stop quite yet. As far as pricing, I want to give you a little taste of what is to come on the new videos that we're going to be breaking down each of these areas. But similar to what we saw, the trend on the average price per household, you're going to find that on the square meter, right? With Santo Antonio, Avenidas Novas, Misericordia, Estrela, Campolide, and Santa Maria Maior taking the lead, right? But again, you have some up and coming now, kind of getting there with Arroios, Penha da França, Areiro, São Vicente here with Graça, and Alcântara. So these are definitely some areas to look into. But again, everything that is of interest to expats moving within the Lisbon region, that's what we're going to start with. We're going to be sharing that piece by piece, neighborhood by neighborhood. So again, subscribe, click on the bell button, and get all the information that you need as you're planning your move to this beautiful city. So this was just that video that we had with the price per square foot, and starting here with Alcântara, right? As I mentioned, what's exciting about here is its proximity to Estrela. You have lovely park over here. So Alcântara is one that we're going to be looking into it. And then next we have Alvalade. We have the University of Lisbon. Great place, you know, if you have families to be around. They have, obviously, if they get to go to school at the University of Lisbon at some point, the location is there. But one thing that is for the now, they have a great sport activities and classes that is available for anybody who lives in Lisbon, right? So Alvalade is definitely one to check, and we're going to be covering that. One that I mentioned, Areiro, right? And there's one a lot to do with location, right? You're surrounded here by Alvalade, Campo Pequeno, which is part of Avenidas Novas. So really nice neighborhood to look into if you're looking for value. And continue here with the A's, and one of the hot places now, Arroios. Again, you're very close to Saldanha, Parque Eduardo 7, Santo Antonio, Misericordia. Great area. And you know, one thing that is quick, we're going to get to it, there's a train, there's a metro that covers the whole neighborhood. So really good for transportation. And then next here, we're going to go to Avenidas Novas, new avenues, great, established, buzzing, you know, mix of commercial and residence. Looking so forward to doing this neighborhood. And then we'll move over here to, what do we have? Marvila and Beato. I like to pair those two together because they're quite similar. You know, Beato a little closer to the city, a bit more like, you know, smaller buildings, but I think they go hand in hand as areas to explore. So we'll be doing those two together. And then heading over here to Campolide. Campolide, as I mentioned, up and coming, a lot to do with that bairro, with that neighborhood feel to it, and with location, with, you know, Campo de Ourique right here, Amoreiras, Avenidas Novas. So it's really surrounded by some of the top areas to live, and therefore, you know, it's getting a bit of the overflow of residents that are actually moving to Campolide now. And then what do we have here next? No secret, one of my favorites, Estrela with Santos Ovelho, Lapa, really good, established. Anybody who's been to Lisbon has probably explored a bit of Estrela. We'll be looking into that one. And then here we have Misericordia, also known as Mercedes. And here you have a mix of, you know, the top kind of goes through like Príncipe Real, so very, very appreciated. Downstairs a little closer to the Time Out Market, a bit more older buildings, smaller apartments, a bit busier, so not for everybody, but if you're a young couple, again, we'll get into it when we go with a focus on Misericordia. But again, super excited. This is where I live. Super excited to be talking about Misericordia. And then next we have Parque das Nações. Important to touch on those as it's quite good for some families, right, that are looking for the convenience of a newer area without some of the I don't like to say challenge, but without some of that charm from the old world. Like, they really just want convenience, practicality, and for a lot of families, they really love Parque das Nações. All right, and then next, as I mentioned, Penha de França, who's really right now getting hot. A lot to do with its proximity to Arroios. So this area here, especially, it's where a lot of the action is taking place. We're gonna go into that in a future video. And then over here, we have Santa Maria Maior, which encompasses a very mix of places and neighborhoods, right? So we have Baixa, which again, not really desirable these days for investing for residential purposes. You have Alfama, again, with its charm. Some great properties there still, but again, quite touristic, so doesn't tend to be a focus with expats moving here. But then you have Castelo with some beautiful homes, quite hidden over there close to the Castle of São Jorge, Moraria with its charm, And over here, kind of up, going towards Avenida Liberdade and Príncipe Real, there's some pretty nice streets as well. So really mixed area that is always important to mention, which is Chiado. Again, beautiful. And for anybody who's visited Lisbon, you've definitely been to Chiado. So I'm looking forward to talking about this and the complexity and the variety of Santa Maria Maior. Then another area that we'll be looking to, and one that you notice has some of the highest prices in Lisbon, which is Santo Antonio. And it's really to do with the fact that Avenida Liberdade is there, and Avenida Liberdade still have some of the most expensive real estates in Lisbon, and going up to Príncipe Real, which again follows that same trend. Very, very nice area as a whole, right? But again, we'll get into more details. It's interesting to see how much different, but the difference in prices are on this side of Avenida Liberdade to then 5 minutes away to this side that drops quite noticeably the prices of real estate from one side to the avenue to the other side. But again, stay tuned, sign up, we'll get there, right? And then we're also going to be looking into São Vicente, and São Vicente, special attention here. Again, the whole area, but really, really noticing Graça with its charm, with the tram, with that old Lisbon way of living, right? So we're gonna go there. Again, we're gonna talk about prices on the whole area, the lifestyle of the whole area, but with the focus here really on Graça at the moment. And then these are just another tease, because we are going to be also talking about rental prices, right? Because many of our clients first, when they're coming, they need to rent first to figure it out where they're going to be. Sometimes we try to find, short-term accommodation in a few different areas to make sure they're in the right place, right? So just to give you an idea of a full average price per rent, including studios, 1, 2, 3, 4 bedrooms. And it's the trend today, as you see, it's around the 2,000, right? For the areas that are desirable, is that 2,000 plus. And this is the reality of Lisbon today. So a rent of a 2-bedroom apartment, you should be looking again, that 2,000. I will use that as an average, for a low average for 2 bedrooms. Obviously, if you need much more space, if you're okay with less, it will vary. And again, the kind of data we'll be sharing with you. Also price per square meter, which makes it easier as opposed to making average, I needed a 100 square meter apartment in Santo Antonio. So you're probably looking at 3,000 euros. It will be very informative and very practical the way we're going to be sharing the information. So stay tuned, follow us, and we're looking forward to sharing that with you. Thank you very much for watching. And if you feel like you're ready for the next step and want to talk to me, reach out. The information is on the description below. Email, WhatsApp, or a Zoom call. I'll be ready to talk to you. And if you're in the process of still gathering a lot of information, make sure you subscribe, because there's a lot more coming. And don't forget, your new life starts now. Let us find your home for you. Bye for now.